Hi, and welcome back to the Save It for Parts channel. If you followed along with some of my Sandland videos, you might be curious about what the layout of the tunnels looks like. In fact, that's a common question on my comments section. So today I'm going to try to sketch out a rough map of what the Sandland tunnels look like. I might share some other maps made by other volunteers as well. Now I'd like to use my drawing tablet for this, but because this is the Save It for Parts channel and all of my equipment is secondhand, used, dumpster dived, etc., it stopped working. So before I can actually start drawing, I think I have to open this up again and replace the BIOS battery. Alright, well the BIOS battery seems to be working and holding the time and date and whatnot, but it still doesn't want to boot from the SATA hard drive. There's probably a way to fix the bootloader, but since it's Linux it probably involves a lot of obscure console commands, and this little tablet only has one USB port, so I can't have both a keyboard and the live USB dongle. So it's just going to be easier to erase everything and start over. I didn't really have anything saved on this tablet. Alright, so let's see if we can sketch out these Sandland tunnels a little bit. So we've got our upper entrance. We've got kind of the original upper adit that came through like this. And that goes something like this. Then we've got the hull tunnel that just goes basically all the way down to the loading ramp. It's a little bit wider there. We've got this little crevice. Got our loading area where we dump the sand into the train cars. This is an angled tunnel going up to the surface. And we've got our donut room, and this is kind of the grand central of the current Sandland tunnels with lots of stuff branching off from it. In particular, we've got the sandbar here. We've got a little natural crevice that comes through here. We've been trying to extend it in this area. We might eventually have a utility tunnel that comes through. So here's the sandbar, or approximately where it is now. It's going to be extended this way. It might eventually go underneath some of these entrance tunnels, and we do have a plan to cross-connect some things here, both for airflow and for some more additional interesting features in the future. So the next tunnel over is Dave's Swiss cheese maze. I'm not 100% sure how his Swiss cheese is laid out. I think there's more bubbles than this, but that's kind of what it looks like, this series of little bubbles or globes, like the inside of a block of Swiss cheese, I guess. So then the next tunnel over is Jim's Swiss cheese, and he started doing a little spiral staircase here. That's going to be really cool when it's finished. Okay, so I kind of messed up my donut room proportions, but down here most of these are just stub tunnels. They just kind of go around the corner at the moment. And again, that's not to proportion. This tunnel is not quite as close to this one as I've shown here. The idea with the donut room is for all the tunnels to look the same, so as you come in here from the entrance, you don't necessarily know where you are. You can't see around the corner of any of these, so you don't know if you're going this way or that way or over to the bar or back to the entrance. It's intentionally confusing. I'll give this a little shading so maybe it makes more sense which parts are the passages and which parts are the sandstone. Alright, so there's the basics of the main standing height tunnels. Now if you've followed Sandland for a while, or if you're familiar with my other videos, you might be wondering, well, what about the other adit? What about the maze over here? And yeah, there is a lower adit. It's down here somewhere. That comes in, there's a little sitting room, and there's this steep upward tunnel. So, how does this connect with all this over here? What's in this area? Well, I'm not going to draw that because I want to save some mystery. The maze is intentionally designed kind of like the donut room, but more so to be confusing and hard to navigate. And it's kind of a little challenger game when you come to Sandland. You're supposed to go in this entrance down here, make your way up through the maze and navigate through all this and find your way over to here. So if I gave away the exact layout of the maze in my map, whoever comes to Sandland in the future would have an advantage for knowing how to navigate through it and get up into here. I've often referred to this as a giant underground pretzel, so we'll just throw that in there as a placeholder. Alright, so there's my quick and dirty sketch of what the Sandland Underground looks like. Let's take a look at a little nicer map that Dave's been making. So Dave's map is much more detailed, has a lot more features and labels in it, and even has the ceiling heights in those little circles. And then here's a much better look at his Swiss cheese globe maze situation. This is a lot better than what I sketched out. Now Dave's map is partially based on a survey that we've been doing, and the surveying is a little more rigorous and scientific way of making sure that all of our tunnels line up correctly and we can meet our loops and connect things together the way we want to. Another thing people ask is how deep are the Sandland tunnels? Well, currently they're about 100 feet deep, and you can measure that either from the surface going down the angled tunnel or straight up because it's a hillside up above us. We also have about 850 feet of total tunnel length dug. Alright, so now that we've seen a bunch of underground, what does Sandland look like on the surface? I built this little bulletin board for the entrance area to Sandland a while back. It's kind of like a message board that you'd find at a campground or park, and it's a cool place to put up Sandland related stuff, like this map that one of our volunteers made. It doesn't have 100% of the latest additions to the surface world, but it shows the general overview of the property. I hope these maps answer people's questions about the Sandland tunnel layout. As we keep digging, there might be updated maps in the future. If you'd like to help support Sandland, you can donate to one of the links below, which goes straight to the owner. If you'd like to support this channel and my videos, I have a Patreon link below as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.